give up on your legal status. Many people fail to respond to RFE or file an application before the deadline. This is why we offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Not everyone qualifies. First, you need to speak with our CARES team. We receive many requests, so we recommend you answer a few questions on our website, greencardguys.com. Our mission is to help people live and work in America legally. Go ahead and subscribe below and follow and share. Talk to you soon. What's happening? Today is Wednesday, June 5th. Hope you all are doing well. Here in the Houston, Texas region, it's we might have some thunderstorms coming. I know it's raining a lot, so hopefully all is well in your area of the country. Today's topic, okay, folks. Today's topic is every Wednesday we try to talk about employers, tips for employers to get sponsored. Well, to sponsor an employee, a candidate, but also on the flip side for employees, things for them, for y'all to consider. Okay, so if you're this topic today, and by the way, I'm happy to answer questions related to anything else related on immigration. But please know I go to the topic of the day for about 5-10 minutes, okay? And then I answer some questions. So go ahead and drop in the comment section. You're welcome to also share your experience. Love for y'all to share it in our community, greencardguys.tv. My name is John Ting. I practice immigration law in the United States with a physical office in Houston, Texas. All right, folks, so let's get down to it. There's usually 3 tips I like to share related to sponsoring an employee. Now, number one, let me debunk a myth here. Some people have the mistaken understanding that, okay, when sponsoring someone for a green card residency, that like it doesn't take that much time. Like, in that person, not only that, but that person could stay in the United States while everything's being processed with their current status, which is no status. So the first thing, okay, generally it takes 2 years, and that is just the first few steps. The last step is waiting for the visa to be available on the visa bulletin, which is issued every month by the Department of State. It depends on the category of the employment-based, okay, preference category, and also the country of nationality. So the 2 main countries that have a longer backlog per se for EB is for nationals from Mexico, and China. Okay, I'm sorry, not Mexico, India. I don't know why I said Mexico. I said Mexico is because congratulations to the new president of Mexico. I don't know her, but congratulations, a new election, or not a new election, new president. But anyway, the 2 countries of nationals that have a longer backlog are India and China. Okay, all right. So, and the other thing is, for people who have no status right now, maybe they overstay their visa, I wouldn't go so far as to say like that person is not eligible for residency in the future. It depends on everyone's background is different. They may have entered a visa, they may have DACA right now, they may have TPS. And so if you have DACA, you're a DACA holder, and TPS or TPS holder, you have a better chance of having a smoother process to be sponsored for residency. Okay. Or if you're eligible for waiver, 601A waivers. Okay. Continue dropping your questions in the chat box. Happy to answer them. All right. So the second thing you need to know. All right. I see some comments in your respective platforms. So I will get to them soon. All right. So the second thing you need to know related to sponsoring an employee. So right now is June, okay, early June. Every March, it's always only in March, unfortunately, is the H-1B registration. And you might be thinking, why is John even talking about it? Because March registration just passed. Well, for better or worse, you as an employer need to be ready, or even as an employee or potential employee. Let's say you're in school right now, F1, especially if you're in school right now in the United States, you need to basically strategize for your future. You can't wait until you graduate and then look for jobs and then say, oh, I'd like to apply here. And then you have the interview and that interview is in June because you graduated in May, and you're thinking, oh, and then you have a great vibes. You're gonna potentially have like a third, fourth interview, which by the way, these days, employers I know, the interview process is extended. So anyway, long story short, you get to a point that the company has offered you a job, and then whether you told them you have your status F1 or no status at the time of interview or after the fact, I would probably tell them sooner than later. But let's say that company's like, obviously willing to go and sponsor you, and come to find out they can't sponsor you for H-1B because the timing has passed for registration. Okay, so this information right here, folks, is to help both sides, the employee or student, and also for employers, companies, HR. Very, very important because the process just for interview reviewing applications. I do that for any new position we want to fill. I love doing it to some extent, but it's a process for everyone involved, right? So you don't want to turn it into a sour situation because both sides didn't strategize in advance. So that's why we're here. I'm also on LinkedIn on Wednesdays sharing this information so y'all can ask questions about this or anything else. All right. So another thing related to H-1B and a distinction with EB, which is for residency, green card. For H-1B, if you have a undergraduate degree, that can be from a country outside the United States. That does not have to be from the United States. A master's degree must be from the United States. Okay, very, very important. And then for employment-based, for residency, you don't necessarily even need to have a degree. It depends on the job, right? I see Jim here mention something about like maids, housekeeper, nanny. May not necessarily need a degree, maybe a certification, then that's a different subcategory of EB3. Okay. So there could be misconceptions, misunderstanding, like what all the requirements are. Okay, folks, don't you worry. You're here on a live show. We also have free guides on our website. Okay. And also if you go to our profile here, click on the profile later, go ahead and click the plus sign. And below my picture is a link, ZAAP, and you'll have other free resources there to share more information. Okay. I think education, knowledge is power. Okay. I was trying to find this thing. Okay. But yeah, if you go to our website, if you go to our website, you'll see these free guides. I'm showing YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn. You go to our website, greencardguides.com, scroll down, and most of these are available right there. You don't even have to talk to anyone of us. Okay. All right. I don't know why the lighting's like this. Okay. Well, anyways, I can go on and on, but now it's time to answer some questions. Well, I don't see any questions on LinkedIn, so I'm going to hop off of LinkedIn right now. Let's see if I can do this quickly. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, let me see if I can answer some questions. Wow, great. Thank you so much for your trust for asking questions. I don't know why Instagram, it keeps pausing. If y'all on TikTok experience this too, but it seems to be Instagram that's pausing it quite often. It's raining in Houston area, so bummer. Let's see. JJ, how long after you do biometrics will you get your work permit? So unfortunately, there's no clear timing. However, like for example, shown on the USCIS website, that'd be great. But based on our experience, it's usually about 1 to 3 months. Okay. And even especially if you're sponsored by a US citizen spouse, you might actually get that status. You might get the residency status before your work permit. So that'd be great. JJ, come back to the show and let us know how long it took you. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see here. I need to charge my phone. Okay, great. Okay. Well, apparently I can only stay on for a little bit today because my phone is not charging. If one was denied entry to the U.S. because of drug charges, will expungement help or does it have to be vacated? Um, Expungement will not help. Okay, or what do some people call it, like non-disclosure or something? Unfortunately, will not be, because when people take fingerprints, biometrics, it will show up. Okay, so even if you do an expungement, all right, it does have to be vacated if possible. Um, if you Google search for attorneys in your state where that offense happened or a conviction happened, post conviction relief is the phrase to use. Okay. Hey, what's up, Johan? Good to see you. Now, Jim, you're asking me to elaborate on religious worker. Happy to talk about it, but I think the questions you're asking here, yeah, not for straightforward church or mosque or priest. That's more for a webinar. And plus, I don't know what you mean by talent hunt. Maybe you mean like how to find someone to for religion. I don't know. We don't do recruitment. That's not our job in that sense. Um, but I don't. I definitely, certainly. I think we. I think I know. I think we have one client that's a tarot card reader, but I don't think that's. I don't know if that's related to psychic abilities. Okay. But welcome to join our selected topic. So, folks, by the way, about webinars. Okay, you can fill out the form, but please know it's a work in progress in a sense that it's a rolling invitation. Okay, you can join and fill out the form, and as soon as like we have a webinar ready, and let's say like in 2 weeks' time, we'll email you and say, okay, this is coming up in 2 weeks. Please go ahead and RSVP for it. Okay, and so yeah, and webinars will probably be about 15 to 15 to 20 minutes. I'll try and make it as compact as possible, but I'll also allow time for Q&A. Okay, so actually a little bit more exclusive than here on these channels. Alrighty. I need to figure out how to charge my phone real quick. One moment, please. Got a fixed, okay, charger. Okay. All right, there we go. Don't want to lose connection because of phone already. Let's see if I can figure this out. One moment, guys. Sorry. Look at my ceiling for a second. Alrighty. I should have this prepared better next time. What's up? What's up? All right. There we go. All right. Great. All right. Alrighty. There we go. Sorry, folks on Instagram. I think I might just X out here. Okay. All right. We're back. We're chill now. All right. We have 2 interns this summer, so I'm learning new Gen X terminology. If you know any terminology, please let me know so I can be cool with them. All right. Hi, Shane Fancy Face. Nice to see you. USCIS, Jim, you're saying USCIS tracked down all 3 maids in 3 months? I don't know what you mean by that. They were all acting strange and same things kept repeating, but the trick is it will take 1+ months to train them. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know your context of your situation, so I don't know how to respond, to be honest. Let's see here. Okay, Yesenia, do you have any remote jobs as secretary, legal assistant? We don't have positions open right now, but in terms of we do have a career page where you can fill out an application. But please don't expect like a response soon per se, um, because it just depends whenever we have open position. But yeah, happy to consider anyone who's interested in a job. Go ahead and go to our website, greencardguys.com. We do have a career page. Let's see. If you're on Instagram, go ahead and go to TikTok or Facebook or YouTube because I don't know what's going on with Meta's got issues. So I'm gonna just hop off here. Let's see. Thank you for your questions, though. Sums up with Instagram. Okay, let's see here. Thanks for sharing the show. If you know anyone that has immigration questions or maybe a case, please share it with them. Our channel greatly appreciate it. Let's see. Let me try to stay on track here. All right, Juan and Eve on TikTok. You have a employee that has DACA. She is a great asset to your company. How can you help? Well, thanks for tuning in here. Your employee with DACA, it's possible. So the two main issues that anyone has with employment-based in terms of the employee is failure to maintain status and overstaying their visa if they had a visa to begin with. Okay, so the ideal if the person has DACA, number one, when it's the right time, not saying right now, we would strategize with you is to apply for advanced parole. Okay, because if your employee does not have legal entry to begin with, then advanced parole allows a person to leave the United States when it's approved, of course, leave the United States and come right back. I mean, if he or she wants to turn into vacation, sure, but literally you could just like step outside the United States for an hour and come right back and then have the stamp, okay? Because we want us the stamp essentially is for legal entry. Now, what we want to make sure timing, we have to make sure timing wise because of a potential failure to maintain status. There's a law called 245K that does preserve it in a sense, but it just depends on the timing of everything. There's a lot of steps involved. All right, happy to chat. If you're interested in our services, not saying you like need to know like today, right? But if you're interested in our services, you're already considering an attorney. You know you need to get it done for ABC service. Go ahead and fill out the form on our website, our website. Go to my profile page, and then under my page is that link. All right. But look, you can also go there if you're interested in a webinar. You're just like more broad questions. You know you're not eligible now, but you're wondering other ways to possibly get sponsored, or it's like yeah, not so much like a step by step, but yeah, just more educational format in that sense, where it's a little bit more exclusive and more time that you can ask the questions and receive a direct response. So go up here again and scroll all the way down for webinar in that sense. And now, if you're interested in getting questions answered, but you're not interested in our legal services, maybe because you just want a second opinion, then we do have a consultation fee. That's 3 digits. Okay. It's our pleasure to assist you. I'm not here to like sell you anything, more so just because people ask. So I figured I just might as well share. All right. Jahone, thanks for your request. You love it if one day I could do a video on Jamaican categories on stages and timeline cause a lot of people because a lot of people over here don't really understand the time frame and stuff to reach visa appointment. You know what? That's a great idea. I really appreciate that. So if anyone else has ideas on like videos, um, let me know because it's your question essentially. So whatever your concern is or question, I'm happy to answer it because sometimes I mean most of the time your question does require a longer answer from me, and it's hard to do that on a live show, but I try my best. So let me go ahead and let me see if can I copy that. No, I can't. Let me screenshot that actually. Let me screenshot that. All right, appreciate that, Jahon. Okay, let me find the next question. Today I am going to be talking to my interns about the negative reviews that I've seen on other lawyer websites. And so it'd be quite interesting. I really want to share with them, impart with them a lot of wisdom um, on why, essentially I'm trying to help improve the customer service of the law profession because I know a lot of y'all, not just immigration, have a negative experience. Let's see. Okay. Sanjog, how can you find marriage-based interview videos? So when you're a client of Team Law Group or Green Card Guys Law Group, we do have videos, okay, for preparation for certain types of cases. You know what? I don't have one per se on the channels here, but I do want to make one, record one for y'all. I don't want to give all the secrets away, but I know y'all would appreciate something like that. So let me screenshot that request as well. Thank you, Sanjog. Sorry if I mispronounced anyone's name. Okay, let me go here. One of my team members probably like, "What the heck are you doing?" Screenshotting. Okay, all right, there we go. Love how technology has made it a bit easier to do things like this. All right. I don't mean to skip anyone, but I do see some questions from time to time. I just want to get to answering it. Um, is it worthwhile to hire an attorney for a pending case? Yes. If, I mean, you can hire any time, but for us, if you've filed it, we would rather, where we provide the most value to at that point is if you receive a request for evidence letter from USCIS or a notice of intent to deny. Sh- If you Google search, it's like NOID, okay? Notice of intent to deny. Or even for your interview, okay? We currently have attorneys in Houston. I can fly up to Dallas, or one of my associates. They're also in Denver and also Florida. So, but we fly anywhere if you need us there at the interview. Otherwise, if I already know a lawyer in that city that you need for an interview, I'm happy to connect you. Okay. Now, I can't promise that they'll accept your case that late, but for us, for our law firm, we understand that budget is a concern at the outset, the very beginning, because the government fees are not cheap these days. They increased in April. Okay. So very cognizant of that. And yeah, thanks for asking that question. All right. Yesenia on YouTube. Is there any way NVC or any reason why NVC takes so long just to get your appointment for Ciudad Juarez, Mexico? So unfortunately, it's pretty much across the board, across the U.S. I'm sorry, across the world in that respect. Okay. But is there any way to do? So in general, they put more priority across the world for marriage-based cases with U.S. citizen. And I think maybe you mentioned that. That's what you maybe have your sponsor. Your second question. So I don't really have an answer to your first one, otherwise, other than like the pandemic, and they're trying to. So they say they're trying to catch up since the pandemic, and it's been what 3+ years since pandemic. All right, but your second question: any way to do an expedited request for faster appointment due to blood transfusion under high risk pregnancy? First, I hope everything goes well for you, and also congratulations on the pregnancy in general. Um, Yes, it's possible. If you don't have an attorney, I don't know how you would do that. You should be able to try to do this. If I can remember the email, I'll share it in the comment section here. There is an email for I okay, I know attorneys have an email for National Visa Center. Okay. Is it amazing? It's better than not having one with you for USCIS. So on the website, with State Department website, they don't have that much information about expedite requests, unlike USCIS. So, short answer, yes, it's possible. Okay, pregnancy alone is not enough, unfortunately, to get your interview expedited. But some kind of complication related to pregnancy and anything else medical related, it's worked for us. Okay, to get the interview sooner. And I can't promise, but the times that we've done it and got granted this expedite request, the interview was about like less than 1 month, about less than 1 month. Yeah, from the time of it being approved, essentially. Um, so, is Yesenia or anyone else in this type of situation where you're trying to expedite through a visa interview abroad? Okay, there's a bit of information online. If you don't mind, if you could like text us or DM us, we'll see if we get you that website. Okay, because there is a National Visa Center inquiry box. At the very least, you could try that. Okay. Um, this is this is one of those situations I don't, lawyers won't like me saying this. I don't think you need a lawyer, but it certainly can help because, as I mentioned earlier, there is a email that we could use directly, but you could try the NVC inquiry box. It's basically like a form on their website. I don't know why my TV looks so bright. Anyway, um, So DM us and we'll send you the website if that's what you need, or your email. Which, by the way, go ahead and if you need something like that. Actually, probably one of the best ways to email us. If you type in the subject line expedite request or NVC expedite request, we'll send you the link on the steps basically, because I just don't think you need a high lawyer for that particular step. Um, yeah, other lawyers are not going to like me for saying that. Um, if you can get it done through the inquiry box, try that. Okay. So email us at wecare@John Tinglaw. My team's not gonna like this. Let me see if that can go through. Okay, there we go. All right, let me get to the next question here. Okay, hope y'all doing well. By the way, if okay, hopefully that goes through as well. Okay, here we go. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you so much for your trust to even ask that question. Now let me scroll down here on TikTok because y'all doing better on TikTok about this. You're not copying and pasting, but if you are copying and pasting, you don't have to. TikTok just does this thing where I guess if I haven't read comment, it just scrolls it down automatically. What's up, Epic Boss? Okay. Um, by the way, Yesenia, if a team member replies to you and say, "What the heck are you talking about?" Please know we'll get it to you. I haven't told them yet, so I need to do better to update them in advance. After you have received receipt notice for your green card application, what is next? What should you expect? Okay, so are you talking about the 485 application? You received the receipt notice for that, and essentially you should expect for a biometrics appointment, especially yeah, because you filed the 485 application, and that could be about you could receive that notice about 3 weeks to 1 month later. By the way, anything I share with y'all, by the way, it's legal information. Cannot be construed as legal advice because I'm supposed to tell you that. My state bar and any state bar would say that, requires to say that. So, yeah, this is legal information. If you do want one on one advice with one of our associate attorneys, we do offer a paid consultation for a fee. And that's 3 digits. Okay. And now, if you're interested in hiring us, you don't have to pay that. You can skip that, but paying this amount. Okay. This amount. I can't say it out loud because this app that does this action banned me for like 5 minutes. So it's a little bit nerve wracking for my marketing team. So if you just go to our website, you'll see that amount, but it does start with the number one. Okay. So, yeah, just really help you cut to the chase because some people delay. I mean, we know you need to get it done and you need to get it done. So let's see. All right. Okay. I think I'm here. Nation's 45. Your mom naturalized in May. Congrats to her. And you're under 18. And LPR, can you be deported once your green card expires? Can you you're a resident? Why would you be concerned about being deported? Your mom naturalized in May, so you want to check with an attorney to see if you're eligible to be what we call derivative, a naturalized person as a derivative or automatic acquisition. So you may need to file the N-600. Um, that's a consideration, but you went straight to deported. Why are you thinking about that? Just because a card expires? It's interesting. It's different than like a driver license. If your driver license expires, by law, you're not allowed to drive anymore, but no one's there to like stop you, right? But if your resident card expires, that does not mean that you cannot like stay here. You're still a resident. You just need to renew it to continue showing proof that you're a resident. Okay. So I think that's what you're getting at. All right, Raimundo Velasquez, your I-130 approved under 245I. Congratulations. Okay. Okay. And you're under 245 and just resubmitted your medical exam. Your 45 is pending, and you have EAD. Okay. You're mentioning final action date current F for F4. So your family preference. How long will it take USCIS to approve your case? With you're saying it's current for you? Wonderful. Congratulations, because I know that was a long freaking wait time. And you're in the US right now? Okay, because of 245I. Well, the thing is, this is interesting. Let me know, Raimundo. If you get approved, that's wonderful. I'm a little concerned because I may need to check the law on this myself, but 245I, the main purpose of that, okay, INA 245I, if anyone's wondering what the heck is John talking about, and Raimundo, this is a law that helps a person to not have to leave the United States for the interview, if there is one, right? And that's because 245I generally, there's a lot of requirements, but the main one is that someone who was eligible at the time to sponsor you, it had to be filed before April 30th, 2001. Okay, that's the main first requirement. But I don't believe it's going to resolve your situation about failure to maintain status. Okay, because it sounds like you're in the U.S. if you mentioned the 693 form and 485. So do you now have, if you have current status now for some reason, then that's great. Okay. Love to hear more if you have, sorry, F3. Okay. Either way, F3, I mean, that's a family preference. So you might have an issue of, you might get an RFE. It sounds like you did get the RFE in general for the medical exam. So I'm surprised I didn't mention this. And yeah, come back to the last show. Let me know how it goes for you, or send us a DM or something. I mean, unfortunately, YouTube you can't, but Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, because generally you have to show you maintain status if you're in the U.S. on family preference. Okay, I hope I'm wrong on that. Look, folks, I'm different than many lawyers. I know there's a lot of information, that I'm in my head. So there's a lot of questions, of course. So if for some reason I'm wrong, come back, let me know, please. Our community would greatly appreciate you. No lawyers can say that either. No lawyer likes to be wrong, but we need to know the truth on this channel, right? So, all right, let's see here. Okay, I think I'm on Christina. On an H-2B visa expires at the end of June. Can the employer file extension or help get green card? I think the green card might be difficult. Okay. It might be difficult because unless your job, because the main crux of H-2B is to be seasonal or temporary employment. So, for us, we don't handle H-2B. I believe you can renew it. I'm pretty sure we had a client where we helped with a marriage case and it shows renewed multiple times. So I'm fairly certain it's renewable, but I don't know, like, if the company or you still qualify, still meet those legal requirements. Now, for your second question about being able to be sponsored for residency through that same employer, I suspect the job description or the job title may need to change, and that might be a conflict. The very first step for EB does not need to have your name on it per se or at all, but eventually your name would need to be on it. So they could start the process for EB now, because that first step takes like 4 months. And that result of that first step is to know what we call, like, essentially the salary. We call it as attorneys minimum poverty, prevailing wage determination. So, but hopefully, first immediate action right now for you is to renew your H-2B. Okay. Let me know. Let me know. What was your name? Christina Marston. DM us if you don't mind. I'm interested to know, like, you don't have to tell us the company name. You can keep that like confidential, just like the job, like your job title, things like that, like what you do for that company, a bit, if you don't mind sharing. They can give you an idea about the employment thing. 12:34. Okay, so let's see here. Just try to keep track of timing here. Okay. Mm, hey, what's up, Tom? Good to see you. Um, Test bond. I'm not sure if you have a question about that. All right, so let's see here. Simran Queen, you've been waiting for your brother to come to US for 8 years. My goodness, why do I think it takes so long? Well, in general, this F4 category. I'm assuming you filed a petition already. So, Simran Queen, if you haven't done this already, or if you're not familiar with the visa bulletin, you need to hop onto my YouTube channel, greencardguys.tv, and search for visa bulletin. I have a video about it that explains it. So if you haven't searched it at all, you definitely, and I probably need to update it. That video is probably like 2 or 3 years old. I'll need to update it. But if that's F4 category, then it's a long wait time. It's at least 8, 10 years in general. So you mean in the petition, y'all might be wondering also like for F4 kind of category for sponsoring sibling, why does a petition take so long? It's because they don't need to approve it that quickly. In fact, it's actually, especially if you have a niece or nephew um, through that same sibling you're sponsoring, and they become over 21, the longer the petition takes, their Child Status Protection Act calculation, their formula, it actually helps to protect, freeze the age 21 is what they call it. So I know it may seem frustrating, but in general, the visa wait time takes a long time for any of them, not just for F4, because there's a limitation. There's a limited number of visas per fiscal year. So and so that's a key difference. Those family preference or employment preference categories have a wait time, whereas there's a limit. Whereas for immediate relative classification category, there is no wait time. There's obviously still processing time, but you don't have to wait extra years. There's unlimited visas in that category, such as sponsoring you're a U.S. citizen sponsoring a spouse, adult child sponsoring the parent, or the reverse, U.S. citizen parent sponsoring their kid under uh, 21 years old. Okay, those are three main categories. Let's see here. Thanks y'all for staying on. I know y'all are so patient to get your question answered, but in a situation, no pressure. If you're not patient or just joking, but if you have to go to work or something, all good. Then go to our profile. Go ahead and click follow now. Click the is it a plus sign or something? Or subscribe down below on YouTube and Facebook. And then you can go to our profile page. There is a link. You can schedule consultation for 3 digits. Start with the number one. Okay. Um, and if you're not interested in our services, but you just want questions answered, I totally get it. But if you are interested in our services, you can still get some legal questions answered, but that'll come in the format as like authorizing us to start working on your case. Okay. That has a fee of at least this amount, less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, and all you have to do is just um, fill out the form. Okay, that's really there because some people no show, and I know I get it. Maybe they had work, but you should know your work schedule in advance. If this is important to you, okay. Okay, I can stay on for another 10 minutes. Okay, it's ZAZ216. Why would someone be asked to submit paperwork for F2B way earlier than filing date? Yeah, that is interesting. Maybe that's a clue. Who knows? Maybe the consular embassy is getting ready to like advance the date and month on the visa bulletin, but at least online we can't see that yet. So not a bad thing if that's the case. I mean, I wouldn't mind. Um, it's interesting. Sometimes people even when their prior date is current on the visa bulletin, they actually get an interview. But as far as I know, you're not supposed to get interviewed until final action day. So maybe in that for that particular consulate embassy, they just had free spots, available spots. I don't know. Okay, Fixed Watch. What's up? I need to watch your channel. You're a watchmaker in the UK and you want to relocate to the US. The company you work for has an office in Florida. Wonderful, wonderful. The first thing that comes to my mind is L1, L1B for specialized knowledge. Okay. You'll be with that same company. What would be the profession be? So a profession could be the same, but I would believe, I mean, first, this could be specialized knowledge because, shoot, I don't know how to fix a watch, especially Apple Watch. Um, but that's the first thing I think about. L1B for you, okay? Fix Watch on YouTube. Get in contact with us. I don't know where the about page, but our link is somewhere down below. Maybe that's just the description box. Okay. Okay. I think. Sorry again. I don't mean to be skipping around, but this one caught my attention. You're here on a B2 visa, planning to get married next month at the courthouse. Okay, I guess you don't have a question. Maybe you asked it later on. Congrats to you. Congrats for finding your right match. Hey, by the way, I'm trying to do something trendy on social media. If you come across videos that you think it might be worthwhile for us to go along with that trend, I know it may seem silly, but we really appreciate it. Go ahead and send us like share that video or something. Some of y'all share videos anyway with us, so really appreciate that. By the way, if y'all have seen that Finance 59 trust fund video, one will be coming soon. Different variations. All right, so let's see. Someone asked, Hardy, what if you get divorced if your conditional green card is pending? Do you mean your very first application? Like, do you have conditional status now? Or do you mean, yeah, do you have conditional status now? And then, so that you mean you applied the 751 removal of conditions? It's probably gonna be difficult for me to see your follow-up answer. So if you're in a situation where you do have conditional residence status and you filed a 751 application and it's pending, you're gonna have to refile a new application to indicate that you're either doing based on essentially a waiver is what we call it, or based on abuse. Okay, so I mean, I don't want to assume there's abuse, but we do have to ask those type of questions because on the other scenario, if you don't have any conditional residence status, but you're going through the process the very first time and there's abuse, you may want to consider VAWA, Violence Against Women Act. And by the way, men, that is gender neutral. Okay, but that's part of what we discuss in our strategy meetings with you. Okay, so welcome to fill out the form and contact us or schedule a meeting. All right, so let's see here. I can answer a couple more questions here. I got a couple interns at the office, so I gotta meet with them, shed some wisdom. All right, so your question, Johnny, on YouTube. Your question about EB3 unskilled visa sponsorship, your labor cert in progress, and you're Hong Kong-born Chinese. Um, anything to watch before I-130 approved? I-140. So it sounds like that's what you have on file now. I-140 petition. Okay. Are you outside America right now or in America? In general, once your I-140 is approved, you want to watch the visa bulletin, okay? The employment-based preference, and keep note of your priority date. The priority date would be on your I-140 receipt notice. That's what I can share for now with that information that you provided. Thank you very much. Mohammed asked about motion dismissed. It's a very big topic, but in general, not saying that you can't do this, but in general, if you want to dismiss your case from court, immigration court, it is possible under the Biden administration, even under President Obama. It was pretty difficult. Okay. So with President Biden, maybe it's because he was vice president under Obama, so he or his underlings understand the situation. I'm sorry, not underlings, his staff understand the situation of a lot of different situations related to immigration. So they made it a little bit more expansive to get your case dismissed from court. All right. So there's a lot of things to consider. This is more for webinar talk, but just a quick response, I suppose. The best way to get your case dismissed through court is if you're sponsored by a family member or even a company, or even if you have not sponsored by anyone, but you have a self petition for VAWA, Violence Against Women Act. Again, gender neutral. Okay. So, or you have T visa, and not necessarily just have it, like you have it in your possession, the visa, but showing that you filed the application through your attorney or without one, that can help. Okay. And I recommend now, especially if you're trying to do this by yourself, it may be more difficult, but what we do as a law firm is we let the court know, the judge, and also not district, the Department of Homeland Security attorneys know in advance the strategy with proof. So it could be more difficult if you go to court on your own and you're trying to find a way. How do I give this to the attorney or whatnot? Attorneys and judges like to cut to the chase, right? So time essentially for them is not necessarily. No, I guess it is time for them. The more time on cases that they have resolved, who knows? Tempers can flare. I've seen it happen, and just because there's so many cases for the court, the judge, and the government lawyer to go through, so we make it as streamlined as possible for clients. Okay, for people. But yeah, you need that proof. You can't just go to court and say, "Hey, I got a U.S. citizen wife, and we file a petition." The judge or DHS attorney is like, "Okay, do you have a copy of it?" Or if they say like, "Oh, okay, congratulations there, buddy," and the judge asks like, is your spouse here in court?" And you're like, "No, spouse not here." Well, then I mean, everyone knows people got to work. I get it. But for a court hearing like this, it's serious enough that the spouse has to show up. Okay. Usually, can't say for everyone. Usually, they don't have to go and testify or anything unless there's potential something shady in your background. But usually, just say like, just wait, like, "Hey, I'm the spouse." That's really like an example right there. That's all we had to do in that sense. Okay, for the spouse. Um, yeah, it's like literally seeing physical proof of your spouse. It's like, be real. Are you serious? Like, do you really have a spouse? All right, all right, just messing with you all a bit. All right. Johnny asks, how long will it take for you to start checking your priority date from a visa bulletin from now? I mean, you don't even have to wait until your I-140 is approved to check the visas bulletin because I don't know your category or whatnot, and I don't even have it open right now because I have a lot of tabs open. But you might want to start checking. Like if your prior date, I'm just making dates up now, like January 2020, and your visa bulletin currently shows for chart again, depending if you're in the United States now with a non-immigrant visa, then you follow chart B. If you're outside US, then you follow chart A. So anyway, once you'll get an idea. Like if it's a couple years off, then you're like, okay, maybe let me just check next year. But you just never know how the Department of State, they're a little funky sometimes. They could advance it to be a little sooner. They could like retrogress, which means like go back in time. It's frustrating. So yeah, whenever you figure out the timing wise, when it gets closer to like a year away, for me personally, if I was going through this process and what we do for our clients also, it's either like check every 2 months once it gets closer like that, or every month, because we just don't want to miss any deadline. And I'm sure you don't want to either. All right, Mokhtar, your RFE took about 8 months. What do you mean 8 months? Like you waited, an RFE came to you 8 months after filing? This is Mokhtar's question here, and your processing time says two what? And your wife for your wife, processing says 7 months. What do you do? Well, I don't know. You're welcome, Johnny. Happy to share tips. That's what we do here on greencardguys.tv. I'm trying to understand your question a bit more, Mokhtar. If you're referring to the My USCIS account, y'all know what I'm going to say. If you've been joining live quite often here on the live show, it's a bunch of BS. Okay, the My USCIS account can 1 week. People have shared here in the community can say like 2 weeks time. That estimated time for decision is 2 weeks. We don't even know. First of all, like USCIS doesn't share it on our lawyer profiles account. So is it that accurate if they're not even sharing with us? And it bumped like say 2 weeks, and then people have told us like, oh, it moved to like 8 months. It's not legit. Okay, don't stress out about it. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but it's ridiculous. Um, Kishab, or anyone asking a similar question. What is my prediction on Visa Bulletin F2A for the much as I? I don't I don't really like to speculate on that because at the end of the day, like if I'm wrong, no one's happy, right? So and plus I never worked for the State Department. I wouldn't know. I don't know how other attorneys can if they have their own live show. I'm sure I don't know how they could guess, but um, beauty biohacker. So if you have a question related to if you're eligible for citizenship naturalization process to become a citizen, I, most of us immigration lawyers don't like that phrase, by the way. Um, it makes it sound like going through a process or something, which I guess technically you are. But anyway, if you have a criminal record, you should definitely number one, don't assume that you're not eligible. Okay, um, because there's a list of conditional bars where you're still eligible. You could be eligible in the future, just not right now. Okay, whereas there are some crimes that fall under what we call permanent bar, where you can't apply to become citizen at all. So I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to record a video about that for at least these this channel right up here, YouTube and Facebook. Look, on TikTok, I would love to include these type of videos. It's just I mean, I could it just be long form, but it'd be better if I have a playlist on TikTok. So if you don't mind, I need to get to 10,000 followers on TikTok to be, as far as I know, to be able to create these playlists. So if you don't mind, go ahead and follow and share to your friends who may have an immigration case, even if they don't care about immigration. Go and share it to them and ask them to follow, because that will benefit you. And our team can, I can record and then save it as a playlist. So this will be like right under the profile. Okay. That way it's easier when anyone asks a question, I can just quickly say, hey, go to this particular playlist. Um, Sandra, how long does it take your 485 to be approved? I don't know. It depends. By the way, folks, if you file 485, give me some more information like who's your sponsor? Is it a U.S. citizen spouse? Assuming it is, then you file 485, average 3 to 5 months in 2024 so far. Some people are a little bit longer. Some people are like 18 months because USCIS is not great at keeping track of files, unfortunately. All right, I can answer two more questions. Thank you so much for your patience here. And I am live typically every day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes an evening, especially on this one right here on TikTok. So go ahead and give it a follow. So if you don't have your question answered right now, you can ask later. All right, your husband's 601 was approved 3 months ago. You recently received an email that he needs to take his passport and other documents. He's never been to the USA. Can he still get denied for his visa? Well, he's never been to the US. Why would he need a 601? Did he ever? I mean, you don't tell me, but just sharing. Um, if he's never been in the US, why does he need a 601 in the first place? Is it like a crime in the past in a different country? Let's see. I don't know. Did I? Is your question? Oh, I guess your question is, can he still get denied? It's possible. Some people have been delayed. I wouldn't say denied, but some people have been delayed because they had one of the very last steps before the interview is taking a medical exam. Okay. And come to find out the results, there's indication of tuberculosis, TB. And there's different levels of it. So it may have to do like more testing, treatment, and by that time it could be like 6 months. So we've known a few people that have like DWI, maybe like recently drinking like 4 months ago, and still got delayed. It's crazy. It's pretty ridiculous. So a lot of it, part of it, might not have anything to do about immigration necessarily. It may just have to do about the freaking medical exam. It's so annoying. Um, so no, I'm not trying to give cause any worry here, but y'all need to know the realistic situation because some people like confuse the medical thing with immigration. It's part of the process, but it's not about immigration law per se. Partially, there are health grounds and admissibility, but some of these clinics, they're like it's like they've gone rogue. They ask like way too many questions that are not necessarily related to the regular freaking exam. I think it's ridiculous. I'm ready to file a lawsuit. If you're down, let me know. All right, GF. Oh wait, Gerald. Is it Gerald or GF? I see you changing your name. My bad. So I'll just say your question without showing that. Can you elaborate on the legal presence? Can I elaborate on the legal presence, overstay visa, and potential job sponsorship? Not anymore on the show. I already covered that topic. But if you're interested in that topic for a webinar, please go to our profile or link ZAA Peak. There should be a option for certain webinar topics. So hopefully that kind of topic is on there for you. Okay, just because it's just a mouthful. It's a lot to share. Okay, and I'm about to end the show. What does 245I means no status? Okay, Jim, let's see what you're saying. Um, Jim, it sounds like you need a consultation. I or whoever you're asking on behalf, because sounds like a couple people you're referring to. Um, but the main crux of 245I, as I mentioned before, is that if the person is here in the United States, you don't have to leave necessarily for the visa interview. Okay, as long as you had a petition, an old petition filed on your behalf before April 30th, 2001. Those are signed in as grandfathered in by President Bill Clinton. Okay, love dropping some knowledge here. Jahon, can you remind me how far along your case is, what stage you're at? I think I remember your case is already at NVC. Your I-130 has already been approved. I hope you got your new case number and invoice number. Let me know, okay? All right, let me answer one more question while I try to wait for Jahon D's response here. All right, someone on TikTok asked, how long will it take your individual hearing if you are an asylum seeker who went to a master hearing? Okay, I'm glad you went to your master hearing. Wonderful. I do need to do more videos about that as well because some people think you don't have to show up. Yes, please continue showing up to your court hearings. Failure to show up will result in a removal order, deportation order. Um, and unfortunately, even if you didn't know about it. So, by the way, real quick, if you didn't know about your court hearing and you just recently found out, um, there could be an opportunity. I mean, there is an opportunity. There's an exception to get your case reopened. Okay. But you have to contact us for that. Okay. To go further to reevaluate. Okay. A lot of great questions here. I love answering, but I do need to go to a team meeting. So I'll just answer one more. Oh, okay. Taliso, I just saw your comment. My bad. So I try to do that. I'll try to do that more often. If I can repeat the question people ask before answering, you're at work, but it can't be with phone. Okay, good call. That makes sense. This is interesting. This is almost like a old school, the new school radio show. Okay, cool. I'll do that. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks for the follow, folks. Really appreciate the taps. Appreciate the love here. Empire Floors and Remodeling. Shout out to y'all. In my opinion, where do I see DACA's future heading towards? Please pray to your holy gods, any god or no god at all, that Congress or the executive branch, well, I know the executive branch cannot do this, but Congress somehow get their shit together, excuse my French, to pass a bipartisan bill to allow DACA holders and TPS holders, at least, to have a pathway to citizenship. There's been proposals by even a Republican out of Florida. She's a Republican. I'm not, but it's her proposal is better than nothing. I can't remember her Representative Salazar. Okay, I think she's out of Miami, Florida. It's decent. Could it be better? Yeah, because she has a lot of penalty fees. It's like ridiculous. It's like you have to pay so many more taxes in America. But anyway, it's better than nothing. But I do think it's possible. But just with the people that are currently in Congress, man, they're making it real difficult. I mean, they can't agree on much. They can't even agree. Really difficult for them to agree on funding Israel, Ukraine, and this has been like ongoing for like 2 to 3 years in general, at least. And but they can agree on that finally, and then also just slide in TikTok, banning TikTok. So if you can't sense my frustration on that, um, you should take a political course, political science course, or government one-on-one course. You know what? I might record a video about that. It's just ridiculous. So given the nature of our current makeup of politicians in Congress right now, I do think it's difficult. It will probably take a few more years. All right, we'll see how it goes in this November election. But folks, I gotta get to a team meeting. So I appreciate y'all staying on, and I'll repeat the question next time before answering. Stay tuned, okay? Got a lot to share about like Oklahoma bill that's coming up on July 1st and Biden's executive order. So we'll record a video and share that with y'all soon. Y'all have a good one. Take care. Peace. Y'all know what to do. Follow.